I don't know why it is taking so long today for the YouTube live. Okay, fine. So we start today. Chapter 4, we have come to Jnana Yoga, Yoga of Knowledge. It's going to be a very surprising chapter for you all. Okay, so let us begin this. Yoga of Knowledge. What is this? Transcendental knowledge, which is Krishna is going to talk in this particular chapter. Okay, so let us pay our obeisance to Sri Radha Govinda. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Nanakashalakaya Chakshunmitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vittam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadotam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Vittamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascha Desha Tarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for coming. So let us just have a quick recap of what we did yesterday. Okay, it was that time when Arjuna was asking, because he was confused, he was saying why, if at all we are the soul and not the body, then why at all do activities? It is better to renounce and go to the forest. Why actually fight? So Krishna says that's not the way. It is better to work because the body, it is the mind requires to be engaged, and you need to maintain your body and your soul. So you need to work, but you do the work by Nishkama Karma Yoga. That means you do by sacrificing the fruits of your actions to the Lord. That is when Krishna conscious. That is much better than Jnana Yoga. That means you're trying to speculate mentally, but you are not prepared at. Your mind is still not controlled. When it's not controlled and you're not able to absorb in that, it's better to adopt Nishkama Karma Yoga. But to start with, you'll be in the Karma Kanda, where you'll be just doing the activities as per the Vedic scriptures. That is, we shall talk to you about the cycle of sacrifice, isn't it? Where the Vedic scriptures tell how you do the activities by because all that which is in the world is being by the Lord. So we need to, in any activity, we need to do sacrifice, and sacrifice for thank the Lord for giving us the rain and for the grains. And then, so then you, otherwise, whatever you eat, it will be eating sin. That's what he said. So from Karma Kanda, we need to elevate ourselves to Karma Yoga. So I showed you how by Sankirtana Yajna, you can elevate yourself, your consciousness to higher levels, from sensual, mental, from bodily platform, going to mental, sensual, and then to mental, and to intellectual platform and spiritual one. But what is the, once you have learned there, you need not act, you should continue your activities, because you will be like a role model for the common people. So you can lead by example. Then what is the problem in this? Arjuna asks, because I might know everything, but still I'll be impelled to do some sinful activities. That's when he talks about the lust and the anger, which is there in our hearts, which is the greatest enemy. So he talked about the laws of karma. That was, we had that. Now, what is this chapter? It is mostly by the Lord. This is what I talked about. That is, karma is better than renunciation. Karma has both aspects, pious and impious, that will be on the body platform. Karma kanda, you do it and you do not surrender the results to Krishna. But sakama karma, you surrender partially. That is in the beginning stage. Then slowly, as you elevate yourself, you will be surrendering the results to the Lord. So here you will have some reactions to the thing and you are still not free from the cycle of birth. So all he's talking about is to have a shift in our attitude and to work in Krishna conscious. That is, your work becomes your worship. Okay, then Sankirtana Yajna is what our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended for Kali Yuga. This is the sacrifice which you practice, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra slowly, all your things. Gradually, you will be elevating yourself in the spiritual path. So, Vedaischa was Aham Eva Vedaha. That is, purpose of Vedas is to understand Supreme Personality of God, right? So, then what is the reflections we have? How do you map these things, whatever we have talked up, into our life lessons? The chapter 1, we saw that Arjuna had reached an impasse situation. He didn't know what to do. So he said, I'm powerless now, I'm indecisive, I give up, I can't do this fight. So we reach a impasse situation in our life too. So sometimes we do come up where we are really perturbed. So then in chapter 2, what he says he needs to wake up. He can't just say, I give up and just go away. He has to go to an authority for a solution. So, and what did we get? The solution was that we are the soul and not the body. So this is something which will never change. And this is there. This fact, this knowledge is truth. So it doesn't change like the seasons. So he says to work on your ability selflessly with determination. That is what we saw. That's Thira Muni. Then in chapter 3, he says, go and act. Don't sit and worry yourself. Like, what about me and all? Don't renounce and sit and think on just by speculating yourself. Okay. So he says to act. And we talked about all the law of karma. Now in chapter 4, 5, 6, what he is going to talk is mostly on the transcendental knowledge. Now we are acting. So now we are doing your work, but it will become like a machine, So you need to know some knowledge which is beyond your perception. So that is what we are focusing in this chapter. And later in 5 and 6, is going to say, wake up and really see who is the real doer and who is the true yogi. So all these 6 chapters is on karma yoga. Okay, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. That is how the 18 chapters are split. The first 6 is on Karma Yoga. 7 to 12 is on Bhakti Yoga, and from 13 to 18 is on Jnana Yoga. Okay, so we are in this Karma Yoga section. So let us look in what is in chapter 4, Krishna. So this is the transcendental knowledge. It says about Eva Parampara Prapta. So this is the eternal education which we are getting, is all he's talking about. And here he says Krishna is the goal of all the paths and he is the creator of Varnashram system. We'll look into that. And then again it touches of Karma Yoga because he knows it is laws of karma is difficult to understand. He touches upon that. And here he does the goal of all paths. So here he gives us the assurance how we can go back to him. That is also he talks about here. Then he talks about the sacrifices. I mean, if you want to understand this knowledge, we need to give up. So you have to work on it. You can't just get a knowledge just like that. And then Tadviti Prana, how to get this is also talking in this chapter. Okay. So we come to this eternal education. So anything which you come, any gadget which you get, comes with an instruction, right? There's an instruction manual. So this entire universe comes with some guidelines that is there. It's not that we have just come, Krishna has made this material world or all this cosmic manifestation without any guidelines. There's a guidelines which has come, which will tell us what is our purpose here and how is the function. Such guidelines are found in the scriptures. That's what it's all about. So, 1 minute. Now, class in Sami. So, we have to see this guidelines. The scriptures, they contain knowledge of divine origin, okay, imparted at the time of creation itself. You want to know its creation. So, this system is there from the beginning. How is it? Let us look at this history of this Bhagavad Gita. Because Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Haham Apyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manur Ikshavakyave Abravet. The blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable sign of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvak. So, this is what it is, Avyayam. It is there, imperishable. So, he has this science, which we thought it was only given to Arjuna, and that's when it has come here. It is not so. He has already talked to sun god he has given. He's clearly telling it to Arjuna. How? This knowledge he has given it to sun god Vivaswan. See here, sun god, no, there will be each one, some devotees will be given the responsibility of administrating the planets. Okay. At that time, when who was administering the sun planet was Vivaswan. Okay. So he gave it to Vivaswan, and Vivaswan gave it to Manu. And you know, all of us know about how Manu is the Manu Samhita. He has given a lot of instructions how to lead a life here and go back to the Lord. So Manu in turn gave it to his son Ikshavaku. Okay, so this is how it has come down the disciplic sanction. And here, all these people, evam parampara praptam imam rajarasyo viduhu sa kale neha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. So this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession and the saintly kings. See, those days, the kings and rajas and all were very saintly. They were having rishis and brahmanas in their as ministers, no, to advise them, and they were very saintly. So they understood in that way. And but in course of time, he says the succession was broken. So he finds that down the line, it has been kept on saying there it was broken, and therefore the science, it appears to be lost. So that's the reason why he finds it necessity to give it again now to Arjuna. So that's the reason, he says. So now comes the question. So how did he give? These are the 4 sampradayas. Sampradayas are now the disciplic successions has been come down, you know. And these, any university, if you go, then you need to have some, the way to get a knowledge. You have to have some education, some university and like that. So he has this, the material creation is like a university where we can discover our relationship with the Lord. And here there are 4 sampradayas here. That is, he gave the science to Lord Brahma, then Sri Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi, then Lord Shiva, and 4 Kumaras. Sanata Kumaras, the first 4 Sanata Kumaras was created by Lord Brahma. And through Brahma, it has come down. There were a lot of others like Narada, Vyasadeva, and so many acharyas. And finally, the latest is the Madhvacharya. And he has established that Udupi temple in Mangaluru, there in the Karnataka. And here, Sri Lakshmi is down the parampara. You have the Ramanujacharya. He's in Sri Rangam, he's in the Tamil Nadu. And then Rudra Sampradaya is there, but Vishnu Swami. But it is they have not preached this teaching. No, their followers are very limited. And for Kumara's thing is Nimbakacharya. Okay, so these are the 4, and these 2 are the main who have spread it along. And because, like, you know, we come from ISKCON, is coming from the Gaudava Sampradaya. Okay, Madhvaja. So that's how it is. That is, we come under this line from Madhvacharya only we have and that list of acharyas, the prominent acharyas are given in the book. Okay, and so these are the bona fide. So if we have to learn this science, we have to learn it from such bona fide masters, because only they will give us in the true, whatever they realize, it will be as it is. And as Krishna said only, it won't be their own interpretations. So we need to get this knowledge through the bona fide. Otherwise, it's not, even to a college, if you go, you do see the credentials, no? How is this college accredited to some university, or how the lecturers are, and all that. You see the credentials, and then only you try to enroll yourself. Same here, you have to see the bona fide representatives, spiritual masters, to get this knowledge. So now the question comes from Arjuna. How you are my contemporary? See, he's telling, I've told it to sun god. That means it was there, and Manu is all come before them, isn't it? And so Arjuna says, aparam bhavato janma, param janma vivasvataha, katam etam vignayam tvam adau prokshate. The sun god, Vivaswan, is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? So this question will also come in your minds. You say, you'll think, no, how can it be there? He was come now. So, and for that, this such questions, see, the way Arjuna is asking questions is the same, like the same questions will come to us also. So that, I mean, he's really perplexed. And we also will be perplexed to think how could Krishna was here only 5,000 years ago, and how is he telling? He has told the sun god, then Manu, and he has come down like that. So actually atheistic people who think Krishna is ordinary, they will can't understand. And we want to Krishna to answer this question. So we should learn this thing straight away from Krishna itself. So let us see what he is going to tell. And then now we are going to go through he says, Krishna says that you were, I and you, I know we are eternal. I know you, and you have been there before, and you have come with me. Whenever I have come down, you also have come down with me, but you don't remember those births. I know what happened before, and I know what is going to happen in the future. So all this because, but you have, though you have come in many births along with me, you won't remember because it is not given to him. So that's how he says. So I have been coming, and he's giving us, now we look at the timeline. When is the sun god was given? So this is we have taken it from the thing about so Kali Yuga is about from the Vedic scriptures only. These are the time duration of Kali Yuga is given, 432,000 years. Twice that duration is Dwapara Yuga, 864,000 years. And Treta Yuga is 3 times Kali Yuga. That is 1,296,000 years. And Satya Yuga is 1.728 million years. That is 4 times Kali Yuga. So this 71 Divya Yugas will make one mantra. And like that, we have 14 mantras. So this is how a kalpa is, or 1 day of birth, Brahma. So to calculate that, it's the Vedic maths. No, we will be sharing you this PDF. You can go through this. It's also there in the Bhagavad Gita. So when you calculate that, you can find out the life of Brahma is about so many trillion years. Okay. Then why we are doing this maths is to find out when was sun god. Gita was spoken to sun god. So when we look at that, the 27 out of 77 is for 4 yugas. So you calculate that you get to know that Gita was spoken 120 million years ago to Vivaswan. Okay. So that was the sun god, 120 million years. And if you look at, and there are a lot of evidence is given, that is from where these calculations are taken and how it came to Ikshvaku. Because Ikshvaku was ruling the earth, no? So it came to earth 2 million ago. So it was not given just 5,000 years ago. It had come to the earth 2 million years ago. And down the disciple thing, the chain has been broken. And so Krishna had to give this signs again just before the Kali Yuga starts. So that's how it was given to Arjuna. That was the purpose. And so this is our legacy. See, these scriptures are not. Is there any question, Vaishnavi? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, actually, in one of the instances in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that when the people are forgetting the religion, I'll appear and then I'll teach about our religion and then what is Satkarma. In Kali Yuga, the situation is becoming very worse. So my question is, how shall we know, or else to be more clear, since the crime rate and everything is increasing and our religion is stepping back, when will Krishna appear, and are there any chances that Krishna will appear once again?
Yes, Mataji, you will get the answers now slowly. Okay, we'll go ahead. It will come because he will not. That's what you're going to see in the next verse, right? So this is the legacy we have. And this gives you the timeline. It's not that we have only passed 5,000, around 5,000 years. So you see the Kali Yuga is for 432,000 years. So much more is left. And it is going to go verse by verse by verse. Today, our duration of life is around 100 years. It might come down to 25 years also. It can come down. So it is a possibilities are there. And then again it starts the cycle. So this will happen. And Kali Yuga, that's what it says in the Vedas, it's an age of quarrel. Okay, it's an age of quarrel. And there the life is short and people who are lazy, they're always misguided and they're always in anxiety. So here, that is very true. We are all lazy people. We don't want to learn. So now, how does Krishna come? So we would like to know, we know that he comes when the times are bad, when the religious people are there, right? So here he says how he appears. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I'm the Lord of all sentient beings, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So in every yuga he comes. It's not that he doesn't come, he will come. Okay, and how he comes is he will come in his own transcendental form and his own will, right? And transcendental form is not, the body won't be like our body. It's not like a material body, because only thing we can't understand is because we are still in the body platform. So first when he appeared in the minds of Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison, first they could realize him in their heart. And then he appears to them as the four-handed Narayana, because he had told them that he'll be born to them. They had done a lot of tapas. Actually, Devaki and Vasudeva had done a lot of tapas, and what was their thing was to, in their previous births, they had asked for a son as equal to the God. But they can't be two gods, they can be one. So he says, I will come as your son in 3 times, in 3 births, and this is the one of them. And then when they see him, they feel so this thing, they were so surprised and worshipped him. And then they say, please don't come in this form, come in the thing, otherwise Kamsa will think. So then he transforms himself into a baby form, and that's how you have read about Krishna, right? So this is how he comes. He comes in his own transcendental form. And we have seen what all he has done, the thing right from his birth, from his child, then is as a baby. When he could walk out of the prison, always by his powers. Even the Yamuna river was so flooded and this thing rains, but still it gave way for Vasudeva to cross over the Yamuna to Nandagaon, right? So his powers have been shown right from the beginning. So he has come in his own energy, right? How does he come? And when does he come? I think this everybody knows. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijayam aham. So I think Vaishnavi, you can read the translation.
Yes, Mataji. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of religion, at that time I descend myself.
So he comes whenever there's a decline in religious. And if you go through Srimad Bhagavatam and other those scriptures and all, you see and is all the how he comes at different yugas. There's so many, and we know only about the 10 Dashavataras, okay? But there are so many other Shakti avatars are there where the Lord comes and at different times. And it is given all that, in Srimad Bhagavatam, the very detailed things about the devotees and how the Lord comes and all that. So he comes whenever there is a religious practice, and it will come because the duration and how he comes, we wouldn't know. See, as I said, 500 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. He will come. There will be so many people will be coming in between, Madhvacharya came. Madhvacharya is none other than Bhima. Okay, and he comes because Vyasa told him to go and preach, so he comes there. And Ramanujacharya is actually Lakshmana, Anuja. So they all come at different times. Okay, and so many will come, but we wouldn't know. But only by their teachings and the thing at different times, they come at different times for different purposes. So he need not come himself. He can send his agents. Okay, he will send his devotees will come down there, right? So he descends. And why does he appear? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadustakam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So you can read the translation, Hare Krishna. In order to
deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principle of religion, I advent myself millennium after millennium.
So in every yuga he comes. See, for the miscreants, he need not come himself. He can always send somebody to destroy them. But he comes specially for the pious people, because, and also he wants to, all the others are there, who still on the halfway of thing, he wants to pull them back to his abode. So mostly he will come only for the pious people and for thing, and also to re-establish them. Okay, he says here in this chapter, he himself is telling Arjuna, I do that, why I come, how I come, and when he comes. And here is telling comes down. And what is so all this knowledge, what is the benefit of knowing Krishna? Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha taktva deham punar janma nati mam eti so Arjuna. So one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. See, he starts off telling what is the purpose of knowing Krishna's activities, his pastimes, and how he comes. All is that reading these Vedic scriptures. By understanding this, he says they will never take this birth again in this material world. So he himself is telling how to go back to his abode. So that's the actual purpose of trying to read this legacy which we have. That is the Bhagavad Gita. He attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So all we need to know is try to understand this nature of his thing, try to understand this transcendental knowledge. But why it is difficult to know this? Because of so many misgivings and so many prejudices and things we have, inside us, which is not easy to accept it. So what is the difference in the body which we have and the Krishna's? So Krishna's form is spiritual. Our form is temporary. So we know, I told you we have a gross body and a subtle body, which is the mind and the false ego. Then we have the soul. But he is completely spiritual body. And we are controlled by Maya, but he is the controller of Maya. Okay. So we should be very clear. When he comes, we will get people, foolish people think he's just an ordinary human being, only having some special powers. It is not that. He comes, looks like a Manusha, but it's a spiritual form. Okay. So as anybody in history is able to know Krishna. So that is what we are seeing in this verse. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Mannaya Maham Upasritaha Bhavo Jnana Tapasa Tuta Mat Bhavam. So, Yata Mam Prapadyante, this is very important. Tams Tataiva Bhajami Ham Mama Vatmanuvartante Manushya Partha Sarvashya. So, he is telling why it is difficult to know him. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha. Raga means that is being freed from attachment, fear, and anger. So if you're free from this, attachment means we are so attached to a body platform. No, we can't understand that we are soul. Actually, we are soul, but we can't understand. We still that understanding becomes when we are so attached, because we get scared that if I lose my identity. I know now I am Sujata Subhash. I am this, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, and this and that. That much only I would like to know. I don't want to know more than beyond that. So because I get scared, that because I'm so attached to it. If you are free from that attachment, and the fear also, people, they will like to rather merge into something. There are certain impersonalists who think Brahma Jyoti, that is, once we leave this body, we can just merge into the effulgence of the Lord, that is, get into this energy, like bubbles in the ocean. When the bubbles finally gets into the ocean, they think like that, absorbed in the ocean. So that is the fear they have, because they don't want to lose their identity. And anger is, some people they do a lot of mental speculations. They try to read this scripture, that thing, and they get so confused, or they get so frustrated. They don't know how to go back. Then clarity is not there. So they get angry. So, but if you are free from such things, and if you fully absorbed in me, that means you just understand whatever I'm telling and taking refuge in me. That means you surrender to, okay, you are the Lord, you are the everything. And we will do all our actions and we surrender our fruits of activities to him. Then many persons in the past have become purified by this knowledge of me. He says many have come. And thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So depending upon how much you surrender, to that degree, he will reciprocate with you. If you are still having doubts, no one can help you. But if how you surrender to the Lord, how you prapadyanti, to that extent he will reciprocate. So it depends upon us how much we are accepting him as our Lord. Accordingly, he will reward accordingly. He says that I will reward accordingly. So that is there. So he is telling clearly. See, he is not mixing up with his words. These words are very clear and clarity is there in his message. Okay. So, and these are the relationship we can have with the Lord. Sakya Raga. But there are some people, because when they have read the Vedic scriptures, they will get caught with the Karma Kanda section, where it says, if you do this sacrifice, you will get such benefit from that devatas and all that. So men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods, means devatas. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world, because they get fruits, the immediate benefits. They get caught up. They think that is the life. That's all we need to know. We don't need to know beyond that. But what they don't understand is our life in this world is temporary. After this body, we will transmigrate to another body. So again, we have to start the whole process. So that is not the goal. The goal he has already told, that if you go to his abode, you don't have to come back to the birth and death cycle. So here, in this way, you will be caught in the birth-death cycle. So you'll be again coming back to the earth, or you might go to the higher planets or to the lower planets, depending upon your karma. So this is the blocking, because people, once they get some benefits, they think that's all. And they will get, their mentally block is there in them to understand, go beyond that. So next he says, how to understand this science he has created in the society. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram apimam vidya vidhi akatam abhyam. According to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am at the non-doer being unchangeable. So we have this system as the four kinds of people. One is the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. Okay. So Brahmanas are the people who have the tendency to learn Vedas, to teach others, and to practice the austerity and all that. I mean, we are talking about the ideal Varnashrama. And Kshatriyas are the people who like to protect, they like to lead, the kings like, that. And the Vaishyas are the business people who do the thing, and the Shudras are the one who work for all these people. And what is the duty of the Brahmanas is to spread the spiritual, to help everybody, and they have to work coordinately. Each one have got a role and all that. So this was the system which was created by Krishna, but it is according to our nature, guna, varna, maya, system, guna, karma. So you take up your work according to your nature, not according to your birth. Just because you're born in a Brahmana's family doesn't mean that you are a Brahmana. You don't have that Brahmanic nature. You might have a tendency to do business. So you have to take up that rather than trying to take up where they are trying to preach the transcendental. So it has to be according to your guna, you have to take your work. But here today we have all mixed up. There's nothing. We think the caste system, it is all perverted. The system is no more as what was original, ideal Varnashrama system. But we have something like this. We have intelligence class people, we have administrative class, we have business class, and we have the workers class. So this class system is there around the world. It's not that it's not there, it is there. But spiritual upliftment is not there. So that is what was there in the beginning. Okay, when Lord has made this, right? So there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. See, when he was here in the earth, he performed all the varnas. See, like a Kshatriya, he took up the weapon in the fight when Bhishma was so aggressive that time. When he was like a Brahmanas, he was Kuchela when he comes, so he knows how to honor the Brahmanas. Then he was a Vaishya because he had taken, in Nandagaon and all the cows and all that, he used to take it to the cowards. And he was a Sudra because he was a charioteer. So for him, it's not that because he has taken, that's the work he took for them. So he says, but he does the work because he has to perform whatever has to be done in the earth. He has come, he has to accomplish it. So he says people who understands this, they won't get caught with the fruitive reactions of work. So this understanding him is the true knowledge of spiritual knowledge, transcendental. So Krishna displayed all the gunas. So now he talks about the work, it's not that easy to understand. That is, the intricacy of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So we have to understand this. So again, though he talked about law of karma last time, again he talks about it because there has to be, it's very difficult to understand. So I've just given what is the Vikarmis. They are the ones who don't follow the Vedas. They risk of being degraded to lower species. They're not appreciated by saintly people, and they don't know the purpose of life. So they are mostly like, eating, sense gratification. They only bother about themselves. They're not bothered about whether they are hurting others or not. So they don't follow the Vedas. The Karmis are the ones who are very religious. They follow the Vedas. They are very pious. They will go up to even the Svarga, to heavenly planets, and eventually they will Because, because of the punya, they might go to higher planets, but once the punya's credit is over, they have to come to Mrityu Loka. So if you want to get liberated from the cycle of birth and thing, you have to come back to Mrityu Loka. Only from here you can get the liberation. So, whereas Akarmis, they have come to the platform of devotional service to Krishna, and they are know the fruitive activity will bind and means rebirth. So they are all the time in the devotional service. So you can one example is the Narada Muni. Everybody knows is all the time in the consciousness of the Krishna. He just goes around preaching about Krishna and giving, helping all the devotees around the world. So that is it. So the fruity, because any activity we do, whether it's pious or impious, we are always bound here. We need to go back. We have to go do the devotional work for Krishna on the Krishna consciousness. That is the thing. How we can learn that? We have to, you can learn this truth by approaching a spiritual master. Tadvidi pranipatena. How we have to approach him? We have to be very humble. Pranipatena. Prashnena. We have to inquire from him submissively, not just go with a arrogant manner. We have to approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service, sevaya. So all these three is very important. Pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya. Then the self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So only a spiritual master can make us understand this knowledge. Otherwise, if we just reading, see, even for us, if you want to become a doctor and think, just reading the books will not be enough. We have to go enroll into a college and we have to learn it from a teacher. So same way here, this knowledge also, it can be, unless we go to a guru, only then and render service to him, he will be able to understand this transcendental knowledge. So finally, Krishna says how to get it. So all this was talked about transcendental knowledge. And here Krishna clearly says that once you know his appearance and how he comes and his pastimes, and you understand this knowledge, we can easily go back to his abode where there's no cycle rebirth at the okay. But then how much we surrender to him, to that extent he will reciprocate. And many people have gone. Only thing is we have to be free from this attachment to this body, and we should not have any fear. We should surrender to him, and anger. So these are the things which we need to not speculate. Go to a thing, to the spiritual master. And also he talked about the vikarma, akarma, and think what is the pious activities. So this transcendental knowledge, unless we have that, we cannot. Otherwise, we'll always be in ignorance and we'll be in the cycle, do sinful activities and then keep on coming us again and again. It might be sinful, it might be pious, but even if you do pious activities and go to heavenly planets, again you have to come back to, there also there's no free from birth and death. You have to come back to the planet, Bhuloka, and again take birth here and then do that. So what we learned was the parampara and about the surrender. We have to surrender to the Lord, and the guru is very important to have in our life. Only then we can understand this science. Okay. Hare Krishna. So how to gain, we have understood here. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama. And actually chanting will help us to remove our misgivings slowly and can understand this knowledge, right? So with this, I will end my lecture. Vancha kalpatru abhyascha kripa sindhu eva cha patitam nam pravanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please chant and be happy. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Wait, I have to stop.